Do not buy in Folsom and El Dorado Hills, California until you watch this video. We're going to go over some things that you might not have even known about these spots, and it hopefully at the end of the day will probably make your decision process a whole lot smoother. Both are great spots, but there's some things that have not been released in videos that you need to know about. We're going to talk about it right here. All right, before we get started, my name is Mark McDonough. I'm with Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Here's a little bit about me. Here's some reviews so you guys know actually who is talking to you, and feel free to go search for them on Google as well. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about Folsom. Let's talk about El Dorado Hills. Both are great spots, and you're going to see a lot of videos covering both those locations. A lot of the stuff is going to be a little surface, but I do think that for the person who's kind of coming up here and thinking, I like Folsom, I like El Dorado Hills, I'm just not sure which one to buy right now. I mean, they both seem pretty amazing. Well, one of the reasons why people are a little bit confused on those locations is because they're somewhat similar. I mean, they kind of look alike. The housing styles are the same, streets, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's a little confusing for some people. I mean, the obvious of it is that Folsom is a little bit closer to stores and shopping. If you want to go check out greatschools.org and you can verify the type of schools in both areas. I mean, they're somewhat consistently like back and back. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint why one area might be better than the other area for some people and certain reasons. But let's just go over some of the usual stuff and let's take it from there. First of all, location. El Dorado Hills is a little further up on the 50, whereas Folsom is kind of, a little bit closer. Clean shot towards downtown, get to downtown about 22 minutes. I'd say El Dorado Hills, depending where you are in El Dorado Hills, because that's another thing. El Dorado Hills definitely is hillier and windier of roads too. So you could live maybe like just a little speck on the Google map outside of the freeway, but that little speck could be a good 15-minute drive. So El Dorado Hills definitely is more, you're getting more windy roads, probably more hilly locations as well too. Folsom tends to be a little flatter. Now, as far as the terrain in both areas, I'd say Folsom tends to be a little bit more green because we're closer to Folsom Lake. El Dorado Hills is higher up. You see a lot of those kind of grassy hills in like areas like Blackstone, Serrano, and everything too. So that's kind of what you're going to see in El Dorado Hills and Folsom. If you're someone who likes views, a lot of people prefer El Dorado Hills for the views because El Dorado Hills has some of the best sunsets and sunrises that I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, Folsom tends to be closer to everything as far as right now, and that is going to definitely change in the future. But as far as right now, if you're looking for shopping, movie theaters, if you're looking for Costco, if you're looking for everything like that, Folsom tends to be one of the nice shopping hubs in the Sacramento metro, and people love going to Folsom. Now, it's probably number two. I'd say Roseville still is number one, but Folsom's got some major shops. El Dorado, though, is looking to improve on that. They're going to be opening up a Costco in El Dorado Hills sooner than later as well, too. So I would say for someone who's looking at both areas, if you're looking to be kind of in the middle of everything, Folsom is kind of your spot. If you're looking for a little bit more of that resort style feel where you're a little further away, hilly, El Dorado Hills definitely is kind of the spot for you. And like I said, a lot of people are very interested in the schools. Go to greatschools.org and check it out for yourself. Now, schools are very much like subjective. So you need to check it out and figure out also like if that covers what you're looking for. But I'd say they're very, very competitive as far as on greatschools.org. And like I said, guys, they're both tough markets and they're very, very popular markets in the Sacramento area. Availability, they're pretty much neck and neck, but I will say Folsom, they don't really have a lot of the resale homes popping on the market and they just tend to pop really, really fast. Price point, I'd say the resale market, especially there's a lot of competitive on the resale and they're pretty much neck and neck as far as price point, Folsom and El Dorado Hills. As far as like price point, as far as like, price per square foot, depending on which area you are, there's areas like in Folsom, like Briggs Ranch, Empire Ranch, American River Canyon. There's some really nice spots of Folsom that the price point can go sky high. El Dorado Hills has got like Ridgeview, Blackstone, it's got Serrano. So it's got its places as well too. So, I mean, on the surface, you're going to say to yourself, well, both seem pretty nice. I mean, I kind of want to be closer to stuff. Maybe I'll choose Folsom. Or you know what? I'm looking to play a little golf and kind of get up there. I would like the views. I want to go to El Dorado Hills. Okay, so now that's the surface stuff. Now let's get into the stuff that is really, really interesting. This stuff is going to be I don't want to say shocking, but it's going to be a whole different like idea of what you thought of both spots. Now, in Folsom, one of the things that they're doing is they're putting in between 15,000 to 30 new homes in the Folsom Ranch area. So that's going to flood Folsom with a lot of inventory. Now, we do need houses, we do need inventory. But what I'm seeing right now is builders like Tri Pointe building in the 500s. Beazer is going to be coming in, also building somewhere in that price point. We're going to have condos popping up in Folsom that are probably going to be somewhere in the 400s or low 500s as well too. So the price point is going to be a little bit lower than new homes being built in El Dorado Hills. El Dorado Hills, you got builders like Toll Brothers, you got builders like the New Home Company, you had Lennar up there too, but they were all pretty much building at about the $1 million price tag, except for Tri Pointe, which had kind of like smaller homes. They didn't have a huge backyard, but they weren't really building at that price point. So for the new homes, that's a huge indicator. So what I'm seeing right now is El Dorado Hills area, it's going to explode with custom homes, which is a higher price point right there. And for the homes that they're building right now, the new homes, I mean, we're talking $1 million plus. I mean, Toll Brothers, Hidden Ridge, don't plan on getting out of there without paying $1.6 million. I would say also for, New Home Company, plan on the same thing. Now, another thing to consider about El Dorado Hills, and this is something we haven't mentioned just yet, fire insurance. El Dorado Hills definitely has its spot. And so talk to a good person about fire insurance, maybe State Farm, maybe Farmers, to figure out what the fire insurance looks like. But as far as what I'm seeing like the new homes that are being built that are going to very much drastically change the environment of these areas. I think Folsom is going to have some affordability as far as in the future. I think you're going to see condos. Like I said, Tri Pointe houses are setting a precedent by 500 in Folsom, which we've never really seen before. But on the flip side, El Dorado Hills, I mean, you can't find anything new at this point except for maybe Tri Pointe under 8. The resale market is still pretty competitive with Folsom, but we're not seeing a lot of affordable building in El Dorado Hills underneath $1 million. So what does that say for these areas in the future? Well, I think in the future, Folsom's going to have maybe 30,000 new homes. There's going to be some affordability. I think the price points are going to be a little lower. I think El Dorado Hills, they're shooting for the moon. You're going to see some custom homes, a lot of luxury kind of stuff going on in El Dorado Hills. Those are the future of those areas. Now, it's very important to understand where you're going to buy in the future of areas. Folsom doesn't have too much they don't have lands for custom homes in Folsom, right? A lot of the land in Folsom has been bought up on that side of the 50 by builders like Toll Brothers, Taylor Morrison, Lennar, and whatnot. You're not going to see too many custom homes being built in Folsom. El Dorado Hills, though, in Serrano, you're probably going to see about maybe 60 new custom homes. Ridgeview, the same thing. Promontory as well, too. So what you're going to see is the landscape of both these areas are going to drastically change in probably the next 10 years. So for you, both are great spots. Not knocking either one, but you're going to see Folsom and El Dorado Hills that are really close, how they look right now, probably separate a little bit. You're going to see probably larger homes appearing in El Dorado Hills with a higher price per square footage. In Folsom, you're probably going to see a lot of big players, employers jumping into the area, and you're going to see Folsom a little bit more as a small, medium-sized city over there as well too. So for you, just understand that if you decide to buy in Folsom or El Dorado Hills, it's always important to know what the future of these areas are going to look like. So like I said, guys, if you look at the new homes, and this is stuff you can look online, you're going to see exactly where I'm coming from. And it's not only about finding a great house, a great location currently, but if you don't kind of think about where they're going in the future, you could be really out of luck. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. Like I said, El Dorado, Folsom, present, past, and future. Guess what, guys? The video just ended. But don't worry, we have more videos just like that one right over there. And if you missed that red subscribe button during the course of the video, we got you covered right there. Hit that subscribe button. We promise to bring you some amazing content. We won't let you down. Now, if you're looking for a team in the Sacramento metro area to work with, we'd love to talk to you one-on-one. We always include a Zoom link down below, so book a time where we can talk to you a little one-on-one, find out exactly what your real estate needs are.